This map visualizes the US-Canada energy trade relationship by highlighting the monetary value of trade between specific regions. Using a color gradient, it shows that energy trade is concentrated in certain areas, with provinces like Alberta and states like Texas exhibiting the highest trade values. This suggests that these regions play a crucial role in the energy sectors of both countries. The map also demonstrates the varying levels of energy trade across different provinces and states, indicating a complex and interconnected energy market. Overall, the map provides valuable insights into the geographic distribution and economic significance of energy trade between the US and Canada, emphasizing the key players and the interconnectedness of their energy markets. This map provides a deeper understanding of the US-Canada energy trade relationship by showing how much each region relies on this trade for its economy. Instead of just dollar amounts, it reveals the percentage of each state and province's GDP that comes from energy trade with its neighbor. This highlights the economic impact of energy trade, showing that some areas, like Alberta and Oklahoma, are heavily reliant on this exchange, while others are less so. By illustrating these regional differences, the map reveals a more nuanced picture of the energy trade dynamics between the two countries, emphasizing the varying levels of economic dependence and the potential vulnerabilities or strengths associated with this trade relationship. Furthermore, it clarifies the types of energy commodities included in the trade values: crude oil, refined petroleum products, natural gas, electricity, coal, uranium, and fuel ethanol. The map also includes the dollar values of the energy trade for each region, offering both absolute and relative comparisons. This infographic offers a comprehensive view of the US-Canada energy trade, combining economic, geographic, and quantitative data. The central map visually represents the percentage of each state or province's GDP that is attributed to energy trade with the other country, using a color gradient to highlight areas of high economic dependence. Alongside this, the dollar value of energy trade for each region is displayed, allowing for direct comparisons of absolute trade amounts. Beyond the map, the infographic presents key quantitative data, including the total annual value of energy trade $95 billion, the amount of electricity exchanged 82 terawatt-hours, and the daily volumes of crude oil and natural gas traded 4.86 million and 10.63 billion, respectively. It also clarifies the types of energy commodities included in the trade figures. Additionally, bar graphs on the sides provide a comparative view of the percentages of energy trade for individual states and provinces. This map visualizes the US-Canada energy trade, with a focus on the relative importance of this trade to the economies of individual states and provinces. The map uses a color-coded system to represent the state-province energy trade with Canada, US, as a ratio of GDP in 2017. This means that the color of each region indicates the percentage of its gross domestic product GDP that is derived from energy trade with the other country, providing a clear picture of the economic dependence on this trade. A legend in the upper right corner provides the percentage ranges and their corresponding colors, allowing for easy interpretation of the data. Crucially, each state and province is also labeled with the dollar value of its energy trade, providing a direct measure of the trade volume. This allows for both relative and absolute comparisons of trade between different regions. A text box explains that the dollar values include a range of energy commodities, such as crude oil, refined petroleum products, natural gas, electricity, coal, uranium, and fuel ethanol. A comprehensive overview of the US-Canada energy trade, combining economic, geographic, and quantitative data. The central map visually represents the percentage of each state or province's GDP that is attributed to energy trade with the other country, using a color gradient to highlight areas of high economic dependence. Alongside this, the dollar value of energy trade for each region is displayed, allowing for direct comparisons of absolute trade amounts. Beyond the map, the infographic presents key quantitative data, including the total annual value of energy trade $95 billion, The amount of electricity exchanged 82 terawatt hours, and the daily volumes of crude oil and natural gas traded 4.86 million and 10.63 billion, respectively. It also clarifies the types of energy commodities included in the trade figures. Crucially, this image includes bar graphs on the sides that provide a comparative view of the percentages of energy trade for individual states and provinces, offering a quick visual comparison of the relative importance of trade across all regions. Furthermore, this infographic incorporates a timeline at the bottom, highlighting key historical events and agreements that have shaped the U.S.-Canada energy relationship. This timeline adds context to the present-day trade dynamics, illustrating the evolution of energy policies and collaborations between the two nations. This image features icons representing different commodity types, natural gas, petroleum, and other liquids, placed alongside the U.S.-Canada Energy Trade title. This visual aid immediately highlights the diverse nature of the energy trade between the two nations, clarifies the types of energy commodities included in the trade values: crude oil, refined petroleum products, natural gas, electricity, coal, uranium, and fuel ethanol. The logos of CSIS Centre for Strategic International Studies and Canada are displayed, indicating the organizations responsible for the data, and a detailed footnote at the bottom provides information about the specific data sources used. This image features icons representing the cross-border pipeline types, natural gas, petroleum, and other liquids at the top left, providing a visual indication of the transportation methods used for energy exchange, and the economic significance and infrastructural elements of the U.S.-Canada energy trade, highlighting the relative importance of this trade to the economies of individual states and provinces, while providing visual and quantitative information about pipeline types and electricity transmission. This map illustrates the diverse landscape of international trade relationships across the United States. It highlights each state's top import partner, revealing a mix of countries that dominate trade flows. Canada emerges as a major player, being the primary import source for numerous states, particularly those along the northern border. Mexico also holds a significant position, especially for states in the Southwest. However, the map also reveals the influence of Asian economies, with China, South Korea, and Japan being key import partners for several states. Interestingly, European countries like Germany and Ireland also feature prominently in certain regions. This varied distribution of top import partners underscores the complex and interconnected nature of global trade and its impact on individual U.S. states. This image presents two graphs visualizing the U.S.-Canada energy trade from 2005 to 2017. The left graph illustrates the value of U.S.-Canada energy trade in billions of USD. It uses stacked horizontal bars to show the separate contributions of U.S. exports to Canada, dark blue, and Canadian exports to the U.S., teal. This allows for a direct comparison of the monetary value of energy flowing in each direction. The graph shows a general trend of increasing trade value over time, with fluctuations in both U.S. and Canadian export values. The right graph illustrates the volumes of U.S.-Canada energy trade in million barrels of oil equivalent per day in BOE/D. This graph uses a stacked area chart to depict the volumes of various energy commodities traded. The legend lists U.S. coal imports and exports, U.S. electricity imports and exports, U.S. natural gas imports and exports, and U.S. petroleum imports and exports. Each commodity is represented by a different color, allowing for a visual breakdown of the composition of the trade volume. The graph shows a significant increase in overall trade volume over time, with notable growth in petroleum and natural gas trade. This table provides a detailed breakdown of electricity trade between specific U.S. states and Canadian provinces. It shows the flow of electricity in megawatt-hours MWH and terawatt-hours TWH for different regions, highlighting the interconnectedness of the power grids across borders. The data reveals that some regions, like the western U.S. and British Columbia, have significant electricity exchange, while others have more limited trade. Overall, the table illustrates the complex web of electricity trade between the U.S. and Canada, emphasizing the varying levels of exchange between specific regions and the overall flow of power across the borders. This table provides a detailed breakdown of the U.S.-Canada energy trade in 2017, listing the monetary value of imports and exports for each U.S. state and Canadian province. It reveals that some states, like Michigan and New York, have substantial energy trade with Canada, while others, like Wyoming and North Dakota, primarily export energy to Canada. Similarly, some provinces, like Alberta and Ontario, have significant energy trade with the U.S., while others, like Nova Scotia and Newfoundland and Labrador, have more limited trade. The table also includes a breakdown of the specific energy commodities involved in the trade, highlighting the diverse range of products exchanged between the two countries. Overall, the table offers a comprehensive view of the economic ties between the U.S. and Canada in the energy sector, emphasizing the varying levels of trade activity across different regions and the types of energy commodities involved. This image provides a visual breakdown of the U.S.-Canada energy trade, showing the proportion of different energy commodities traded between the two countries. It highlights that crude oil dominates Canadian exports to the U.S., while refined petroleum products make up a significant portion of U.S. exports to Canada. The image also reveals a significant trade imbalance, with Canada exporting substantially more energy to the U.S. than it imports. This imbalance underscores the important role Canada plays in meeting U.S. energy needs. Overall, the image offers a clear and concise overview of the types and proportions of energy traded between the two countries, emphasizing the dominance of crude oil and refined petroleum products in this exchange. A concise overview of the major cross-border pipelines that facilitate energy trade between the U.S. and Canada. It highlights the pipelines for both natural gas and petroleum liquids, listing their capacities and flow directions. The data reveals that many pipelines have significant capacities and flow primarily to the USA, indicating the substantial volume of energy commodities transported across the border. However, there are also pipelines with flow directions to Canada, suggesting a bidirectional exchange of energy resources. This overview underscores the crucial role these pipelines play in facilitating energy trade between the two countries and the interconnectedness of their energy infrastructure.